So as you guys are going to be writing your essays, it is important that you annotate the speech that you are reading for the persuasive strategies. So I'm just going to briefly go through the strategies that we've discussed and then just give you a quick example or explanation just to refresh your memory. So, number one, you sometimes have a speaker who's establishing his credibility. He is telling you why you should listen to him. So if there was a doctor and the doctor is trying to tell you that you shouldn't smoke because it's bad for your health, he would probably give you all the reasons why you should listen to him, including that he went to school to be a doctor, that he has all these fancy letters after his name, that he has experience being a doctor, and all of these things so that we want to believe him because he has the experience. The second strategy is word choice, also known as diction. So if I want you to not like somebody, I'm going to use a lot of really negative words. Ugly, mean, grumpy, terrible, in the hopes that by using all these negative word choices, you are going to think negatively of this person. The third strategy is just the repetition of words or phrases. So in class, when I constantly say, put your phone away, put your phone away, put your phone away, it is my hope that you're going to eventually get it through your head that you're going to put your phone away. Or if I keep saying, listen to this, listen, 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 it's important, is because it is important. And I'm hoping that you're going to remember that this is in fact important. The fourth strategy, emotional appeal. Think of the dog commercials, the very sad dog commercials, where they show the abused puppies and then they say donate money, go save a dog. You feel really sad after watching those commercials. They're so poor and helpless and weak that you want to go and help them. That is an emotional appeal. When the speaker is trying to convince you, trying to get you to feel certain emotions, be it guilt, anger, frustration, sorrow. Fifth strategy, logical appeals. Basically showing how things make sense. If you, we'll go back to Brutus, the funeral speech that Brutus gave. If Caesar was alive, you would all be slaves. If Caesar's dead, you would all be free. So it just makes perfect sense. Why would you possibly want Caesar to be alive if you're going to be a slave? So how something makes sense. A sixth strategy is a rhetorical question. This is one of those questions that somebody asks, not necessarily expecting an answer, but hoping that you will think about whatever this person is asking. Who here actually wants to be a slave? That's a rhetorical question that Brutus uses. Who wants to be a slave? He's not sitting there waiting for all the Romans to raise their hand, but he is hoping that they're going to really think about what would happen if Caesar really was alive. And then the final strategy that we're going to talk about is bandwagon. Basically, it's peer pressure. You should do what everybody else is doing. Everybody else is going and jumping off that bridge. Well, you should too. Bandwagon is trying to get people to follow along because everyone else is doing it. So you have to make sure when you're talking about these persuasive strategies that you give specific examples of the strategies from the text and you talk about how effective those strategies are. So I used emotional appeal, but did it get you to be emotional? Did it get you to be sad? Were you angry? Were you frustrated? It is important that you explain and you talk about the effectiveness of the strategy.